you might really have never noticed, but we generally take movement and mobility for granted, right up until we can't do it anymore. It's kind of like our Wi-Fi. You don't realize how much you rely on it until it's completely gone. And then you're like, oh my gosh, right? So there's a saying that I love. It's the healthy person has 1,000 wishes, but the sick person only has one wish. And that one wish is usually just to feel normal again, to be healthy again, to walk without pain, to reach overhead without wincing, to bend down without a groan. Now, unless you've had a real major injury, like you've been hit on the head by a falling coconut, maybe you fell off the back of a truck or some other major injury, most mobility issues don't happen overnight. They sneak up on you slowly, bit by bit. And I call it the boiled frog effect because this reminds me of a science experiment that I learned about when I was in high school. There's this experiment, it's not done anymore, at least I don't think it's done anymore, and for good reason. It's because you take a frog and you drop him into boiling water. And the frog will immediately, frantically try to hop out of the boiling water. But if you take the frog and put it in warm water and turn it on, the heat on slowly, the frog just sits there until it's too late. It can't tell that the temperature is slowly climbing. And when I was 15, I thought, what a dumb frog, right? And then as I get older, in my 40s, my 50s, I realized, oh no, I'm the frog. I'm the one that can't tell. Because that's how it happens to us. We let little lifestyle habits, poor posture, long hours sitting, no stretching, skipping workouts, junk food, skipping on sleep, slowly turn up the temperature, slowly turn up the heat. Our waistlines expand, blood pressure creeps up, energy drops, metabolic syndrome, and before you know it, we're stiff, we're sore, and we're blaming it on getting older, right? But that's not true, because here's the good news. Aging is inevitable. We will get older. Every year around the sun, we add a year. But declining is optional. Degeneration and decay is optional. For example, one of my favorite studies looked at people in their 90s. You had to be in the study, you had to be 90 years old. And they started with strength training. And in just after 4 weeks, the average person got 30% stronger. That's 30% increase in their muscles for 90-year-olds. So if people who were born before television can still make that type of gain, we can too. There's no reason that we shouldn't be trying to become better, mobily better, right? And mobility comes down to 3 pillars. There's strength, there's flexibility, and there's coordination. And we can think of these 3 pillars as your body's tripod. If one leg gets weak, the whole thing tips over. The first one we're going to talk about is strength. Without it, everyday stuff becomes hard. Can't carry groceries, can't go up a flight of stairs, you can't stand up from a chair, right? Everything you do, just walking to the bathroom becomes an Olympic event. But strength training doesn't have to mean punishing your body, right? It means building muscle, building stamina, right? So if you're shaking like a leaf, like, oh my gosh, my body's falling apart, maybe not today. It doesn't have to be all in one day. Remember, progress is important, but so is safety. So you want to add the weight slowly, add the resistance slowly, increase reps gradually, and mix things up. You can use machines, you can use free weights, you can use TRX, body weights, bands, right? You want to have a variety of activities to keep your muscles guessing and your brain engaged. Even just lifting cans of soup around the house overhead can help. And if you're bored during fitness, it's a killer. You can't be bored. Find something that's exciting to do. So in addition to strength, we talk about flexibility. Flexibility is keeping the joints loose and active. It's like WD-40. Over time, your muscles will tighten, your joints will stiffen, and then you end up being like the Tin Man without any oil. You have to keep the joints lubricated. You have to keep your movement going. It doesn't have to be a fancy thing. If you do it 20 minutes a couple of times a week, that's enough. 5 minutes every day, 20 minutes 3 times a week. Stretch the hips, the knees, the shoulders, the legs, the torso, the lower back, the neck, the wrist. Any joint you have, move it through normal ranges of motion. And you can stretch while you're waiting for your coffee or brushing your teeth or binge watching a show. Just get off the couch onto the floor and do some stretching. The key is consistency, not complexity, and you can find these videos on YouTube, right? And then the third portion is coordination and balance. And we tend to forget about this one until you trip or you lose, oh my gosh, my balance is off, right? So for balance, start with something very simple. Stand on one leg while brushing your teeth. And if you can't do one leg, just stand on one foot in the tippy toes. Try to do something without wobbling. Look at yourself in the mirror. Hold on to a chair if you need to. But bit by bit, try to get the body to balance on one leg. If you can balance on one leg, try doing it with closing your eyes. That adds a whole nother dynamic. And if you can balance on one leg, closing your eyes for 5 to 10 seconds, you're a champ, right? And then we want to introduce what are called compound movements, like lifting a weight off the floor overhead. They don't just build strength, but they're part of coordination, flexibility, your balance, everything together, making the body work as one. So the more joints that are moving during an exercise or an activity, the more you're going to get benefit from it. And then train both sides of the joint. So if you work your quads, work your hamstring, which means knee extension and knee flexion. Don't skip back rows if you're doing a bench press. Don't skip triceps if you're doing biceps, right? So it's something that you want to maintain joint symmetry on both sides, right? Because balanced muscles mean balanced joints. Balanced joints mean fewer injuries. It's simple math. You'll get an injury if you fall if you're not strong, but if you're strong and flexible, you can fall and it doesn't bother you, right? Because mobility is something you don't get once and keep forever. It's like a subscription. You got to keep on renewing it over and over and over. And that means keeping your strength, your flexibility, your coordination all hitting at all times so that if you do fall, it doesn't become a major life event. You want to start small. You want to be consistent. You don't want to chase exhaustion at first. You want to chase improvement. Your future self, the one that's hiking, traveling, playing with grandkids, even just getting up off the sofa, is going to thank you for every stretch you take, every rep you do at the gym, every balance drill that you're doing today. Little bits. Turn your life into activity. Don't be the frog. Don't wait for your body to start sending smoke signals before you act. Start where you are. Use what you've got and move a little bit more every day, because mobility is the gateway to maintaining independence, longevity, and honestly, just feeling good so you don't have aches and pains all day. We are designed to move. Human beings are designed to move. So move well, move often, and stay away from the frog. Stay out of the boiling pot and keep your body healthy. Once again, this is Dr. Quartell from Quartell Chiropractic. Thanks for listening to the Body User Manual podcast, and we'll see you next time.